Hello everyone, my name is Dara Rath and I'm the pastor at Faith Lutheran Church in Port Elgin, Ontario, Canada. And each week I bring you a story written by certain authors. This particular one is called Sherlock's Tent in hotsermons.com. And it's really an interesting story. So it's in a book called Flowers in the Wind by Robert Coos. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, there lived a man named Arthur Conan Doyle. In addition to being a physician, he was also a masterful writer of mystery stories. He is most famous for creating the fictional character Sherlock Holmes, a private detective who used amazing powers of perception and reasoning to solve even the most baffling of cases. His faithful assistant, Dr. Watson, always tried very hard to help Sherlock solve the mysteries, but poor Dr. Watson continually failed in his efforts. In one story, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson went on a camping trip. After setting up camp, they enjoyed a good meal and a fine bottle of wine, and then went to sleep in their tent. Something during the night, Sherlock Holmes woke, nudged Dr. Watson and said, "Watson, look up at the sky and tell me what you see." "Oh, I see millions and millions of stars," replied Watson. "And what does that tell you?" asked Sherlock. "Well, astronomically, it tells me that there are millions of galaxies and potentially billions of planets. Astrologically, I observe that Saturn is in Leo. Horologically, I figure that the time is approximately 3:15 in the morning. Theologically, I can see that God is all-powerful and that we are all small and insignificant parts of His creation. Meteorologically, I suspect that it will be a beautiful day tomorrow. What does it tell you, Holmes?" "Watson," replied Holmes, "you are an idiot. When I look up and see the stars in the nighttime sky, I see that someone has stolen our tent while we were sleeping." That's a funny story. Like Dr. Watson, you and I sometimes miss the most obvious things we are examining, laws and how we should apply them to our daily lives. When we lose vision, we can wander in winding paths that get us nowhere. Laws are norms that are written down, norms that are principles or standards of conduct. The purpose of laws should be to help us live in an orderly world, making our lives easier. By having agreed upon laws, we become free from continually having to make decisions in our daily lives. For example, we have a law that says we should stop our car when the traffic light is red. Because we know this, and because everyone agrees on this, we don't have to decide what to do every time we approach the red traffic light. We always need to distinguish the difference between the letter and the spirit of the law. The letter of the law refers to the strict and exact language with which the law is written. The spirit of the law, on the other hand, refers to the reason the law was made in the first place. For example, in days long ago, hospitals used to require visitors to be out of the hospital by 8 p.m. That rule was the letter of the law. The reason was to allow patients to get sufficient rest. The reason is called the spirit of the law. Nurses discovered, however, that often patients, especially children, would become hysterical and inconsolable when their parents would leave for the night. When this happened, the patients not only did not get rest, they only made their conditions worse. Thus, though the letter of the law was observed, the spirit of the law was violated. As we continue along this week, how does it help us on our journey to think about and reflect on the spirit of the law and the divine law? That's our good news for this day. Thanks for taking 5, and blessings on your day.